Yeah, what do you think of the matchup here, right? I mean, we've seen how powerful Kill can be. We've seen the pineapple, the power of the pineapple. What do you reckon about Scalebearer?
Yeah, he can work. And then he's really powerful. His movement is so frantic and hard to predict. But I always lose when I play him. But if I play against him, then it's the same story. So,
yep, I feel that pain. I'm watching RoyalRuby off the start. It is a rush for this rocket launcher. That's the right way to play this, I think. The pineapples come out, but RoyalRuby always has that escape button. Nice pressure from SHrulez, and I think SHrulez has won himself a better start here.
Yeah, RoyalRuby is getting those time falls.
I like that play from both players. RoyalRuby especially, you know, looking for the sound cue to give the opening. The sound cue doesn't come out. RoyalRuby doesn't do anything too crazy. Still gets into a nice position for this heavy armor. And RoyalRuby is probably ready to drive the control here. Perfect.
Oh, his rocket jump doesn't work. Yeah, it's also really heavy, right? So... has a lot of armor on itself, and he's
got a lot of scales to move.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice play from Ruby here. Control, you know, the kind of key rocket launcher area. SHrulez has actually snuck onto a rocket launcher here. Heavy coming up. SHrulez ready to lay down some pain. And I don't think that's too consequential of a fight. SHrulez actually catches Ruby off guard here. The pineapples could be good. Places those pineapples right onto the Mega. Ruby has to wait a second before picking it up. SHrulez able to close down the frag. Very well set up situation there for SHrulez.
Oh, and the damage! Wow! And you look, yeah, RoyalRuby activated his bull rush, but it got just stopped in his tracks. The barrage from SHrulez. And
yeah, and now, you know, you're not even just looking for your item, but picking up the extra rail shot as well. Like, it's I think a lot of players haven't quite got the flow of this map down for when to look at these rail shots, how much you can get away with. Excellent pineapple there. Every extra bit of damage is going to count for so much. Yeah, you've got to make up for the the lack of LG somewhere. SHrulez actually hitting 36% LG off the start of this map. We've got some trash talk coming out in chat about SHrulez's 17% LG.
Yeah. I remember that from last time. It's it's so funny to see, but he does do the damage with it, right? Accuracy doesn't say anything, but it's nice to
All right, we've got a bit of a Benny Hill chase coming through this teleporter. None of the pineapples connect. Just a little bit of a flub from SHrulez, I think.
And the Christmas themed Scalebearer flattens RoyalRuby. I think RoyalRuby is also or SHrulez is also rocking a Christmas outfit.
Ooh. Ruby gets a lot of height off of that ramp at a time when you really don't want it. Thankfully, it doesn't take a load of damage. SHrulez just happy to continue to chip away here. Mega drops down into a low position. Might be looking for some pressure onto this pickup of the armor. And nice route through that teleport. I was wondering what he was doing standing over that side of the map. But actually, yeah, comes all the way through to get that shot. And is now ready to rotate to the top of the map for the next rotation of the mages.
Yeah, RoyalRuby is rather weak though. Oh, there is a big delay on this Mega health.
Yeah, SHrulez plays that right. Nice commitment from Ruby there. You know, I feel like this is a bit of a difference from what we saw with the Div 2 guys, right? Like, the fight around that elbow, Ruby just seems so much more considerate of how he can take damage from SHrulez. Excellent position here for SHrulez. I think he actually catches Ruby off guard, coming all the way around, dropping down into a low position. Excellent opening damage. Very easy frag for him to clean up, and Ruby just had no idea what was going on there.
Oh, but the Scalebearer prevails with the bull rush.
Yeah, it can be really hard to account for.
Yeah, it's a full on a hundo, right? If you connect it. It's so much damage.
Exactly. It's an extra rocket in the fight. Really beautiful pineapple from SHrulez there that really just forced Ruby to have no presence of that heavy, and now off the back of that, SHrulez gets what looks like it could be a totally free mega. Huge presence from SHrulez on the map there. Great use of his ability to control space, and you know he is reaping the stack rewards right now.
Yeah, heavy, a few seconds away from spawning, but RoyalRuby does not have the stack to fight for it. But it's also that SHrulez wasn't around when it spawned. And now RoyalRuby gets in position for the mega health, gets it mid-fight, and also gets the frag in the process.
What I really like about what Ruby was doing there, it was the way Ruby used speed to come out of that teleporter. Like, it didn't matter that SHrulez was in that position. You know, Ruby could just smash through it. Just perfect rocket placement there in that narrow little choke for Ruby. And now again for this mega, yeah, I don't think SHrulez can be here. That's confirmed by a lovely little rail from Ruby. And now, SHrulez really has to do something to swing this.
Yeah, it's actually RoyalRuby who turned it around. It was for the first half down and out. But clawed his way back.
SHrulez is doing a great job of hitting these pineapples, and if you're hitting these pineapples and winning fights, but you're still like not getting frags and then giving up some pretty crucial situations on top of that, it's gonna be really hard to win this game. That's a situation SHrulez can win, but it's also a situation where a really good scale bearer, you know, is going to find a way to beat you out. So, it's a hard one to call. It's hard to call what you should do there, right? But just controlling the top of the map like an absolute champion. I'd rather focus on how well Ruby is doing this rather than trying to theory craft into anything else.
Yeah, but it's also like the skill bearer is so hard to dodge on this map. So if you're behind and not in control, it's a tough job.
Exactly. Once you're behind, then, you know, Ruby can commit so hard to every fight and just be confident that they have a free rocket in their back pocket if they're able to get the bull rush off.
Yeah, and it is also something that cannot be stopped.
Oh, SHrulez leaves that at him a little bit too early. Perfect
Nice.
little rail onto his big toe. I like that SHrulez just plays quiet and lets that mega go up. A rail maybe would be nice, but also, you know, SHrulez just going to stabilize his stack. But again, walking into that bull rush, and this bull rush really seems to be the MVP here.
Yeah, SHrulez does escape this fight. He wants to fight for this heavy. He takes so much damage and gets sucked away.
The pineapples are beautiful. That first connection was not easy to hit, and SHrulez lined it up perfectly. You know, it forces Ruby to give up this mega as well, so this situation could be a lot worse for SHrulez off the back of that. SHrulez has a big chance here if SHrulez can hold a strong position, you know, and know that they still have a little bit of time, I think, before this bull rush comes up, but just gets owned by rockets.
Yeah, and he jumped up the jump pad of doom. That's not the one where you have an escape route. Oh, we might have a turnaround on this one. Oh, the bull rush! What? Almost. With 2 health though, yeah, this is gonna be a spawn frag.
Yeah, RoyalRuby can just hit the panic button, and so nice to see.
Oh yeah, he just does the signature skill bearer movement. Oh, but he actually gets caught out, and SHrulez gets a pizza slice of skill bearer and might even earn himself the mega health. But yeah, he has 1 minute to get a lot of frags.
It's all or nothing. He's got to go huge. You know, the bull rush. Sorry, my ability timers aren't quite working. The bull rush is back up. SHrulez whiffs 2 really big rockets in that fight. And like Ruby's close range rockets have been phenomenal. They've been a step above here, especially in this area, right? On the super nail gun, there have been what, 2 or 3 fights where Ruby has just completely wiped the floor and hit every rocket pretty much perfectly. It's been huge. It's been huge. So that combined with the bull rush, it's a tall order to face up against. Here we go. Just a nice bit of garbage time here to close us out. And what a better way to finish. A nice, classy bull rush frag. Man. I wonder how tilted SHrulez will be by this.
You win.
Yeah, well, just shake it off and say to yourself, this was the bearer of skills, right? It's
That's it. These things happen when you let your opponent pick Scale Bearer on Veil of Nath.
Yeah, and I haven't watched the complete game yet. But Vanguard actually picked Nyx against Scale Bearer. And I think that is the champion that has a great escape to on the bull rush. But then you're playing a light versus a heavy matchup.
SHrulez getting out SHrulez, not enough cheese. That's a good assessment. I like it. That really was like SHrulez is the guy where I've played against him and he's picked Scaled Bearer and he's made my life miserable. I'm excited to see a Molten Fools though. SHrulez playing the Slash, and you know SHrulez, he's a strong ability player. He's a strong play the champion player. So keen to see how much damage he can do with the Slash. You know, has he been studying Cypher's play here? Cypher really giving like a masterclass in Slash on Molten in the recent QPL games, I thought.
Okay, we switch to Aspect South and to Molten Falls.
Yeah, the Nyx pick here I think is quite good as well, but I mean, you know, Slash, Anarchy are characters that have stronger movement and more movement options. I think come out a little bit better here. Athena, I think, is a bit stronger as well. You know, Nyx, it can be played really well, and you can make some really awesome offensive pushes with it. But, you know, I tend to rate the other light characters more at the moment for having more ways to enable creative and aggressive plays rather than Nyx, where, you know, it's nice to have that defensive buffer, but if you're having to use it defensively all the time, you're going to end up just behind these more aggressive champions, especially on this map, I think. You know, you've got to be able to do some creative and aggressive stuff in order to break the heavy mega stalemate.
Yeah, it's if you use it as an escape tool in a fight, it's mostly just a delay of your death.
Exactly. Koachi even goes as far as saying Nyx is the weakest champion in the game. I don't know if I would go that far, but you know, a bit like Visor. I'm not going to call it a bad pick, but I'm not going to call it a good pick.
3, 2, 1, fight.
All right, SHrulez off the start, surely here with the Slash. Let's see how fast these skates can carry him.
Oh, actually a big delay. SHrulez is around the corner here to pick up. I think he already has a nice arsenal. Only missing the lightning gun. No shots connect. Mega Health is first up.
And yeah, it looks like we are going to see just, you know, a bit of this split. SHrulez takes a nice passive route around the map. Really wants that armor before coming up to the heavy. Doesn't want to just let himself get farmed off. Good bit of drive-by rocket here, but yeah, 50 damage, you're not going to complain. The rail is worth more. Hits absolute noodle LG. You know, we were just memeing about it, but that is the prime example of SHrulez LG. You know, he could trademark that. And that gives RoyalRuby absolutely everything. Again, this is a fight where I'll favor RoyalRuby.
That's tracking.
SHrulez does have all the health on the map, or like, you know, what, 75% of the health on the map to fall back on from that position, so it's not as bad as it looks. Like, SHrulez had nothing and left that fight with as much as he had at the start, basically. Actually stacking up on some of these small armors now is going to have time to rotate around. look for damage on the exit of the Mega, but don't actually play for damage on the Mega. RoyalRuby has heard the bounce pad, so knows exactly where to look. Perfect catch.
Oh yeah, and he uses the invis, but walks through the portal, so the sound cue will be there for SHrulez. And yeah, he decides to escape. Oh, he got stuck by that LG. And the rail to follow up. Yeah, RoyalRuby.
Such a crispy rail, yeah.
Oh, but wow, the snail trail does so much in this fight for SHrulez, and he gets the mega health.
When people in chat were saying that SHrulez got out SHrulez, that's kind of that's the SHrulez situation they meant, right? Getting a weird trail frag with no guns. I love it. I love it. And again, like, you know, people who have just learned how to use these characters so well and so creatively and aggressively in situations where you don't expect it.
Oh, Ruby takes a rocket, activates his invis right after it. Ooh, but SHrulez is actually jumping down on the mega health pickup and gets greeted by a real shot. RoyalRuby has so much to fight with, while SHrulez is looking for scraps. But he releases a real shot and, well, almost dies to stack, but... Hello. Welcome to my shotgun.
Yeah, after taking that first rail, it just felt like a matter of time there. SHrulez comes around the corner with LG. You know, I'm not betting on SHrulez in any of these LG fights, but SHrulez losing the rail trades as well, it makes it so hard to blow this map open.
Stopwatch.
Yeah, and it's also like playing against an in-control Nyx. It's the most frustrating thing you have to do.
There's always a degree you have to second guess yourself as well. Like if you're in a position spamming, you're like, am I about to just suddenly get owned? The spot SHrulez is in is actually the safest, right? Because bounce pad or teleporter, you get the sound cue. There's no way to get ghost walked into. RoyalRuby just goes in here. Even with a good opening rocket, I think RoyalRuby does okay. Now that is good for SHrulez. SHrulez needs to be really assertive to take this heavy.
Yeah, is he going to steer around this corner? No. RoyalRuby does not get to set his trap.
Alright, Mega coming. SHrulez should be in a good spot to take it, but maybe coming around from a bit of an odd position. RoyalRuby's just going to dive it and get away. Perfect. You know, it's not the best situation, but RoyalRuby gets more there than they maybe could have hoped for.
Yeah, it's just the basic defensive play that Ruby is in now with the Nyx. This is how you survive when you don't have any armor. Just go for those time vials. Get your invis up. Oh, and do defensive damage. Are we getting a midi?
Huge bounce.
Nice.
Huge rocket. You know, RoyalRuby, bit of Australian blood in him, surely, with a midi like that. That was a nice, clean rocket frag. SHrulez knows how much damage he's done. He's in here,
5-minute warning.
you know, making sure he's all over this Mega like a rash. The Mega pickup for Ruby means that Ruby is going to be a lot more stacked off of this spawn. SHrulez going to be in control of the rail. That's going to be... Oh no, Ruby did spawn on rail. Never mind. Rail is going to be equally distributed across the board.
Oh, the Hundo. But yeah, he still has so much to work with, and clutch rail shot. Yeah, SHrulez overstayed his welcome.
SHrulez? Is that like three
Yeah,
hops?
no, yeah, that was a mispronunciation.
Sorry, I had to go for that one.
Yeah, it's fine. But, I do that a lot. I have difficult with the words, but and I'm casting. But I hope my enthusiasm makes up for it.
Exactly, it's what counts. It's all in the heart. Beautiful opening rockets there for SHrulez. He does the kind of like, you know, shin bash into the rocket combo. Bit of a classic slash move. Ruby maybe leaves this a little bit open. SHrulez just skates on past, it's fine. No damage exchanged. Bit of an awkward fight for both players here. There's not a lot to fight over here. So this damage is really, really going to hurt Ruby, because this means that Ruby isn't going to be able to do much at this next Mega at all. It's going to push Ruby almost totally off the map, and SHrulez should have time to get from this Mega to the Heavy with basically no contest.
Ooh, he slides over the first rocket, actually. That's, well, he earns himself the Heavy. By luck, not by work, but he'll take
Ruby's
it.
in a good position and does good damage there. I think... Oh, that was weird. That was janky. I think the route SHrulez took there is basically the only route where Ruby can get good damage with rockets before that Heavy. You know, if you're in that corner, in that corridor, it's probably the best spot for the out of control player to get damage. Not only because it's like a really weird little corner where it's hard to dodge, and it's hard to dodge without getting thrown off the map, but you have, you know, 100 points of health and 50 points of armor, really easy to back off onto.
Yeah, Ruby is pretty low, but yeah, SHrulez isn't able for the last few minutes to get a lot of frags on the board. So I don't think...
I mean, we've got to watch SHrulez try and chase this down. He's just taken full control with this Heavy and Mega, flying through this teleporter right now. He's actually made the right call, coming around to the right spot. Ruby, well positioned. Oh, I love that. That was just delightful. You know, uses the wall jump to buy time to get the second railgun shot off and then just vanishes. Wastes so much time.
And it's a 5 frag difference, but it actually 10, right? You have to kill the next 2 times.
Oh, dicey fight. SHrulez, he just has to fight better than that if he wants to win this. And he can do it, but it's not going to be easy. The LG is
with
huge.
LG. Yeah, followed up with the shotgun. Great switch.
Oh, this is looking real hard for SHrulez right now. Again, the Ghost Walk is beautiful, right? Like, SHrulez is perfectly laid trap.
But the LG misses. The follow-up is there, and well, SHrulez isn't hitting anything. Oh, he gets an LG frag. Wow, applause for this big man.
He gets an LG frag with his last cell of LG. Never happened before.
Oh, so 100% accuracy with one shot in the chamber.
Of one.
Yeah.
Beautiful rail. Ruby can just be so annoying right now. I mean, everything is on SHrulez to chase this down. Ruby can just chill out. This is nice. Go through Telly. Telly can be awkward, but Ruby set it up perfectly with those rockets. And surely, you know, not to beat my own drum, but that may be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, you might be right.
And Ruby, I'm so impressed. I literally do not think I've ever seen Ruby play before. But what a beast. What a beast. Aiming like an absolute champion. And, you know, usually when I'm seeing players I don't really know, like they're hitting good LG, they're hitting good rail, but a player I don't know hitting good rockets doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, and it's also like the weapon choice of RoyalRuby, right? As soon as SHrulez throws himself in his face, he just has his shotgun ready.
SHrulez actually hit some LG there. That was what we needed to see all map. And RoyalRuby, yeah, just too strong. The fighting skills were too good. Even when SHrulez was doing the right things, he was coming out on the wrong foot. RoyalRuby, well set up, you know, knew what he wanted from a big situation, was able to extract it beautifully.
Yeah, so RoyalRuby takes this one 2-0 on the last featured match of today.
Yeah, really well played there. The 3 fantastic games today, 6 fantastic players, you know, 95, upwards of 100 wonderful people hanging out in the chat. You can't ask for more for a Sunday night. Yeah,
for us it's a Sunday morning. It's also like we consider this is actually the last day of QuakeCon, right? The cherry on top, and yeah, we had some great games. I really enjoyed your commentary. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, like all the players competing, we had 3 great matches. I also like that there is so much banter between the Aussies in chat over here. So
It's something else, isn't it? In Australian Quake streams.
yeah. But it's also like the self-deprecation and onto each other, and it's
a lot.
it's very special. So yeah, let's name drop the last few followers. We have Howard Quake, You Like a Cow, and Ryan 2. So yeah, that was it for today. The Shaftastic schedule will be that we'll... I think the Astolti is back on Friday, so I don't think that's very interesting for the Aussies out here, because that's on 6 o'clock Central European summertime. But next Sunday, of course, we will be here for week 3 for the Aspec Quake League. So do you have any parting words, Ilem?
Oh, it's been a while since I've been on the microphone, especially for Quake Champions. So yeah, it's been awesome to get back into it. I'm enjoying the game at the moment. I'm just playing a bit. I'm in lowly Div 4, but I'm having a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been good. You know, we're going through a lot in Australia at the moment, but people are really rallying together around Quake and having a good time with it, which I love to see. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay and keep playing Quake and keep loving the game. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. And the last thing to do is to send you guys to some other streamer. But I hope you all had fun, and see you next week.